Hello everybody, welcome along. My name is Benjamin Bloom. This is the Benjamin Bloom Football Channel. Please leave your bias at the door and join us for our dearly departed review show for round 34 in the Premier League. A bit mixed, good win for Villa, unhelpful draw for West Brom, but then defeats all round for Leeds, Sheffield United and Fulham. And in our little dearly departed league, Villa replace Leeds now in the top half going into the final few games of the season. We're going to go through each and every one of those games, give my reaction, a little bit of an analysis, and I would love to hear your thoughts down there in the comments. If you're watching for the first time, the dearly departed are the teams that I covered in the Championship as the main bulk of my YouTube work. And we still keep covering them in the Premier League. There's 5 of them. You probably know who they are already. That being Sheffield United, Aston Villa, Leeds, West Brom and Fulham. Before we get into it, big thank you to Jay Coyle, who's our fan sponsor for the Dearly Departed shows. Dearly Departed, also known as Ben Couldn't Bear to Lose Us. Thank you very much, Jay. He's been a great help in helping me transition. Hopefully, we're getting there to be able to do this full time. There are our round 34 scorelines. Obviously, we're recording on Tuesday morning here. The games started on Friday night with Southampton 1, Leicester 1. Then into the Saturday games, Palace 0, Man City 2. And then 3 of our games with the Bluebells on Saturday throughout the rest of the afternoon. Brighton 2, Leeds 0. Chelsea 2, Fulham 0. A disappointing afternoon for us. Everton 1, Villa 2, our solitary win. On we go to Sunday. Newcastle 0, Arsenal 2. Manchester United, Liverpool was obviously postponed. And then Spurs 4, Sheffield United 0. A bit of a hammering for the Blades. And last night, West Brom, Big Sam said they had to win. They didn't. West Brom 1, Wolves 1 and Burnley 1. West Ham 2 was the final game of the round. So, as I suggested, Aston Villa have now superseded Leeds as our highest ranked team. As always, we go from top down to bottom. So, we'll start with Aston Villa. And it was Everton 1, Aston Villa 2. A really decent win. We've had a couple of decent results from our teams up at Everton this season. They've flattered and flirted with the top 6, haven't they? But they have come a cropper to a couple of dearly departed. And Villa get the win at Goodison. They get the win without Captain Jack as well. Villa fans will be fed up of me mentioning their drop-off without Mr. Grealish. But some sense that Dean Smith basically just goes back to the shape that would have had Grealish in, and they're waiting for him to come back. And El Ghazi, who's in Jack's spot, gets the winning goal. There is your Villa team. Martinez, Cash, Konza, Mings, Target, Louise McGinn, Traore, Barkley, El Ghazi, Watkins. That's the team, that's the shape, bar Grealish, that when Villa were flying at their highest, sort of 8th place, pushing upwardly mobile, that was the team. So whether that's his logic or not, it's coming across that way, isn't it? There's your Everton team. Pickford, Coleman, Godfrey, Holgate, Digne, Gomez, Alan, Iwobi, Sigurdsson, Richarlison and Calvert-Lewin. Let's have a look at the goals. Look away now, Mason Holgate. You can see him on his knees, literally and metaphorically, on the edge of the box there. He's been robbed by England's Ollie Watkins, who goes through into the box. Look at that focus. Good technique, good body shape's going to pop the finish in past England's Jordan Pickford in the goal. It's a mistake, but Villa capitalise and they take the lead. Here's the equaliser, real old school backstick header, this one by Calvert-Lewin. Lovely stuff. Maybe Ross Barkley does lose him, or is it Konza who's falling backwards? combination of both of them doesn't do really anything to stop Calvert-Lewin on the back post, who's had an excellent season, hasn't he? Give him that service in that area of the pitch, he will finish them off. 1-1. Speaking of finishing them off, though, El Ghazi is going to finish the game off here with a lovely one. Look at that. Edge of the box. You're going to bend that with the right foot. Uses the defending player as the screen that we see so often. There's a big gap there to Pickford's left. And El Ghazi gets the winner for Villa. Great stuff for them. There are the numbers. 53, Villa 47 on the possession. 16 shots to 5 for Everton, but 5-3 on target to Villa. 6 corners to 3 for Villa and 4 big chances to 2. Look at the shot map and the XG. Most of those underlying metrics present this as a viable win for Aston Villa. And bear in mind, the other win since Mr. Grealish has been out injured, I didn't feel was the most viable win against Fulham, where they essentially weren't very good, Villa, for most of the game. And then, who was it came out? I think it might have been El Ghazi then. Or was it Traore? I can't remember. Someone come on and scored a couple of goals. I think it was El Ghazi. And then they swept Fulham away at the end of the game. So this will be really pleasing for Dean Smith and the Villa fans to see. The other thing that will be really pleasing is they have found their place once again in the top half of the table. They do have games in hand on, well, it's only really Leeds, you'd think, given that 5-point gap between Leeds and Wolves, that could challenge their top half security there. Arsenal just a point ahead. And then you're into the, well, am I allowed to call them the big boys anymore after recent events of Everton, Liverpool, Spurs? Well done, West Ham and Leicester for being in there and disrupting that cartel, if I'm allowed to use that word. But yeah, really good win for Villa this weekend. And broken record, but keep that shape. There's 10 out of the 11 first choice players there. Get Grealish back on the pitch, back playing. Can they have a little trend up towards the end of the season? They've got 5 games to go. Can they get between 6 and 10 points in those 5 games? And that would put them between 54 and 58 for the end of the season, which I think every Villa fan would be very, very pleased with. Let me know your thoughts on our only dearly departed win this weekend. It was Everton 1, Aston Villa 2. Get your thoughts in the comments. And we will move on to Brighton 2, Leeds 0. And a bit of a disappointment in this one. Easy for me to say, but a bit flat from contact with my Leeds friends on this one. It was almost a case of Leeds have gone through the hard games and got good results, and it sort of opens up and you look and it's Brighton and they're beneath Leeds in the table, and okay, they won at Elland Road, and it just all added up to me for a Leeds revenge win for that, and the whole Ben White saga and all of that. Leeds exerting dominance over Brighton as a middle of the table team against a 4th quartile team. But no, Brighton are going to win this one 2-0. And yeah, bit of a shame this one, because I did, for once, maybe I should wind my neck in, have some confidence that Leeds were going to do the business in this one. There's your Brighton team first. Sanchez, the aforementioned and Leeds favourite there, Ben White, Lewis Dunk, Adam Webster, Byrne, Veltman, Gross, Bissouma, Trossard, Mopai, Welbeck. For Leeds, Meslier, Ayling, Llorente, Struijk, Alioski, still no Cooper. Koch in there, no Calvin Phillips. So, yeah, big deal there. Dallas, Wright, Click, returns in central midfield. Roberts, Harrison, so no Rafinha or Costa. Bamford up top, or so says SofaScore there. I'm sure we'll get some dissenting views on that team shape. Bearing in mind, Leeds team shapes are quite hard to track sometimes, but they've got the GPS stuff attached to SofaScore, so we will go with that. But it has broken up the team, and especially if Calvin Phillips not there in the centre, that normally intimates a little bit of a drop-off for Leeds, doesn't it? I think there's the caveat that Leeds won. They win without Phillips at Villa earlier in the season, but generally speaking, I think every Leeds fan would admit Leeds are better with Phillips than they are without Phillips. He's a brilliant player in central midfield. Alioski here, I don't really know what he's doing because he's with Welbeck. He kind of wraps his arm around Welbeck's leg, but look at Strauch and look at Ailing. They're ready to make a block if one needs to be made. Click there is with a man. Cock as well. Everything seems to be covered. There's no need for that challenge to go in. I know it's kind of instinct as a guy's going past you to get some kind of challenge in, but when it's contact and when it's in the box, you know the player is going down. Penalty for Brighton. Good one by Gross. Sticks that one in the corner. Look, Mellier's gone the right way. And Brighton lead. Remember, Brighton famed this season for creating lots of chances and not necessarily taking them. However, and I know we get a lot of Leeds fans watching the channel, you've got to tip your cap. This is a brilliant goal, isn't it? Struick gets well and truly skinned by Welbeck with a brilliant turn. Ball landing down and he kind of Cruyff turns it as the sort of kind of half volley Cruyff turn and then finish it. Sometimes you can analyse all you like from a Leeds point of view, but you just have to say, really good bit of skill, really, really good manoeuvre for the goal. And yeah, flat seemed to be the word from my Leeds friends. And I mean, look at that shot map. Just didn't create anything either, did they? 2.48 on the XG for Brighton, 0.63 for Leeds. 4 big chances to Brighton, 0 for Leeds. Of course, Leeds on the possession, 59. On the territory, 9 corners to 2. That only led to 2 shots on target. And obviously, Brighton's 2 goals being what they were, a penalty is essentially the free shot at goal from 12 yards is on paper the best chance you get in the game, and then the really good finish for the second goal by Welbeck. So a bit of a disappointing one for Leeds. I'm sure you Leeds fans will let me know what went wrong in this game. Not that much has gone wrong this season. Let me know in the comments. Big picture, very, very good still. Just a bit of a shame that run of difficult games being over. All the Leeds fans said, Ben, wait, the trend up will come after those 3 games. And as usual, football makes a fool of all of us. And the trend is up in those difficult games. And now we have a defeat afterwards. It would be brilliant if Leeds could finish in the top half. I'm starting to think that we're going to get a maximum of 1 of our dearly departed sides finishing in the top half. And I think it's either going to be Leeds or Villa. Big picture, brilliant for both of them. And yeah, look, it's 1 place in the league, it's a couple of £1 million TV money. But in terms of Leeds, it's been an excellent season as they try and push on for 50 points. 4 games to go. Brighton, well, they look safe, don't they? Fulham's maximum upside now in 18th is 39 points. West Brom's maximum upside is 38. So essentially, Brighton need a win from their remaining 4 games to guarantee safety. And our dearly departed guys need to win every single game. And as you can see by what we're about to talk about, they're not going to. So get your comments in on Leeds. It was Brighton 2, Leeds 0. And another 2-0 here. Chelsea 2, Fulham 0. And as I've just intimated now, Fulham needing snookers, particularly to catch Brighton, but even Newcastle and Burnley are now 9 points ahead with 4 games. So essentially, if Fulham were to lose their next game, they're basically down, bar the shouting, minus 20. And okay, maybe it will go to 2 games towards the end of the season. The goal difference does seem to be more similar than I'd imagined. But it's looking like Fulham are going to be returning to the Championship. And they lost at West London neighbours Chelsea 2-0. There's your Chelsea team. Mendy, Christensen, Silva, Zuma, Chilwell, James, Ziyech, Gilmore, Mount, Werner, Havertz, who's going to get both the goals in this one. Fulham, Areola, Iain, Anderson, Adrabio, Robinson, Lamina, Anguissa, Cavaliero, Reed, Lookman and Madja. And it's going to be 2-0 to Chelsea. Fulham team does feel now like that is the team. That's what Scott Parker has developed, and it looks like they're not going to be good enough to get over the line here. Here is the opening goal. I think it was an error in the build-up and slid through to Kai Havertz, who puts it in. I think Areola gets a left leg on it or a hand. Can't quite remember. But Havertz sticks it in the net for 1-0. And here is the second Havertz from Werner's run. Sorry, I've just remembered the first goal. It's no mistake at all, actually. It's a brilliant assist by Mason Mount, isn't it? And the second one by Timo Werner. Havertz movement on both occasions, just befuddling the Fulham defenders. And he gets both the goals. Chelsea get the 2-0 win. The numbers tell us that, Fulham had 3 shots on target, 10 shots to 9, in fact, 52-48 on the possession. But then look at the shot map and look at the game management, essentially. 3 big chances to 0, 1.91 to Chelsea on the XG and 0.4 to Fulham. Does say that I think after Chelsea have taken the lead, I think some sense that they were able to, just manage the game. And although Fulham had some shots, they didn't have any big chances in this one. And the game ends 2-0 to Chelsea. And looking at Chelsea, 4th spot, 61, 4 games to go, 3-point lead over West Ham. Looking good for the Champions League spot there, aren't they? Fulham, well, like I say, needing snookers. Now, they essentially need to even have a chance. Take the next 2 games, for example. You need a Burnley defeat from both, a Newcastle defeat from both. You need 2 Fulham wins, and then Fulham are within 1 game of those 2. But I don't know how long this winless run is now for Fulham, but they just haven't had a 3-pointer in so long. And remember, they got so close, didn't they, where Mitrovic scored against Villa. The live league table had them out of the bottom 3, and then it's just sunk since then. Look at that 1 point in the last 5. No late goals today, I guess. In the weekend's game between Chelsea and Fulham. But I am running out of optimism and logical things to say as regards to maths for Fulham staying up here. It's looking inevitable now, isn't it? Let me know what you think in the comments. It was Chelsea 2, Fulham 0. And speaking of inevitability, West Brom, they drew 1-1 with Wolves yesterday, and everything I just said about Fulham, well, I can say plus 1 point. West Brom need another point than Fulham do. So even though there's a far better sense of form and trend up in West Brom, they seem to just be in a better moment. They still haven't been able to get past Fulham there in 3rd bottom, and they really, really needed a win. They're not losing. I'm sure the numbers will tell us that if Allardyce and his form was extrapolated all season, they would be far, far closer to survival going into these last few games. But ifs, buts, maybes, he wasn't there. He's there now. It's a little bit too late, I think. And West Brom do not beat rivals Wolves in this game. They did beat them in the return game, so their relegation's not going to be, if and when it does happen, not going to be predicated on results against Wolves. But they really, really could have done with a win against the bottom half rival here. There's your West Brom team. Johnston, Ajayi, Bartley, O'Shea, Furlong, Townsend, Gallagher, Yokuslu, Maitland-Niles, Pereira, Dianya. For the Wolves, Patricio, Semedo, Cody, Saiz, Nori, Neves, Dendonka, Otazoe, Vitinha, Traore and Fabio Silva up top in horrible weather last night. I think they got the start of the high winds in England last night, didn't they? And it's a horrible goal, isn't it? Really jammy one for Fabio Silva. Because I think the block goes in and then the ball bounces back, hits Fabio Silva. And then where don't you want that to go? It loops perfectly, but from a Wolves point of view, over Sam Johnston and down into the net. Bit of luck there, bit of good luck for Wolves, bit of bad luck for West Brom, however you want to slice it. They do get the equaliser in the second half. Great cross by Townsend down the left. Diania, who's been decent for West Brom, heads that one in, but it really does have the feel of too little, too late, and just winning games has been the issue, hasn't it? And I mean, if you take this latest run, draw, win, defeat, draw, defeat, win, defeat, draw, it's not terrible. 1, 2, 8, 9, 12, 13, 14 points in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 14 points in 11 games. So you know full well that they would have been safe and home probably already now. They'd be where sort of Brighton are, just ahead of that point per game. But Big Sam didn't get there, and also he didn't get them going for a few games either, working at his strategy. And it does amaze me with Allardyce, because we continually get numbers like this where his teams don't have much possession, they concede a lot of shots, but then you look down to the big chance count, and where it really counts in the boxes, 2 big chances to 0 for West Brom. So they just shade it on the XG, but if you look at Wolves' actual shot map there, Wolves' XG is just populated from not very good chances, and probably a lot of them were blocked, knowing Allardyce and West Brom. So his strategy clearly has some value, and I suppose West Brom fans are probably just thinking, if this type of competitiveness had been there in West Brom all season, we'd be thinking very differently. And I suppose they'll be looking ahead now, thinking to the Championship, and probably hoping Big Sam is going to stay, Matt Pereira is going to stay, and they can bounce straight back like Norwich and Watford have already done. There's the table though, and yeah, it's not good reading at all. And also factor in that goal difference as well, minus 34. A couple of big defeats, weren't there, early in Allardyce's tenure. I think against Arsenal and against Leeds, I think 4s and 5s there, Villa 3, all at home as well. So yeah, it's looking pretty done for West Brom, especially after yesterday. They play Arsenal, then they play Liverpool, West Ham and Leeds. So I suspect that's all she wrote for West Brom, and probably they're going to be wanting Mr. Allardyce to commit to next season in the Championship, and hoping that stability and that experience that he's got, been promoted a couple of times out the Championship, Allardyce, hasn't he? So that would be my thoughts on that. Let me know what you think. Wolves drawing 1-1 at the Hawthorns. West Brom 1, Wolves 1. And finally, I go into my Sheffield United slightly resigned voice. They're already down. They did have a nice little surprise win last week, wasn't it, against Brighton, but 4-0 here against Spurs. Gareth Bale with a hat-trick. There are your teams for the Blades. Ramsdale in goal. Bulldog, Egan, Basham. Another permutation of the back three. They just haven't been able to get their first choices out, have they? Stevens, Bogle, Norwood, Fleck, Osborne, McGoldrick and Brewster. For Spurs, Lloris, Aurier, Alderweireld, Dyer, Reguilon, Højbjerg, Lo Celso, Bale, the hat-trick hero, Ali, Son and Harry Kane up top. Here are the goals. Clipped through this one by Serge Aurier. I mean, Bale does well. I just feel Ramsdale, kind of, if he'd taken one step further forward, has the save, but Bale does lift it over him nicely for the opener, catching him flat-footed. Lovely finish here by Bale. Slipped in on transition, I think. Still got that quality that they had under Mourinho earlier in the season. And Bale just squared off to him there, ahead of him. I think it might have been Oreo. Again, drills it low in with the left foot for 3-0. Great hat-trick by Bale. Good to see him back to his best. Unless you're a Blades fan. This is a brilliant goal by Son. He's going to bend that. Literally, it's going to just clip off the post and go into the net. A lovely goal by Heung-min Son. Terrific stuff by him. But horrific stuff in a horrific season for Sheffield United. You can see, look at that. 65 on the possession for Spurs. 20 shots. 11 on target. 3 big chances to 0. The shot map is not good for Blades. Look, 0.48 and some minuscule dots compared to the 2.31 there for Spurs on the XG. A highly viable win for Spurs. Another defeat for Sheffield United. They are confirmed as relegated. They've got 4 games to go. They would love, I'm sure, to get to 20 points. Going to get one more win in the last 4 games. And not that it's important, hunt, but get over that 0.5 points per game, which would be 19 from 38. 20 points would do that. Spurs on the edge of the European positions there. I think they're going to go down quite far this season with Man City winning the League Cup. But back-to-back wins there for Ryan Mason. Perhaps he'll get some more difficult opponents than an already relegated Blades, looking ahead to next season and presumably working feverishly behind the scenes to figure out who their new manager is going to be. Let me know your thoughts, if you can be bothered. Long-suffering Blades fans this season. Tottenham 0, Tottenham 4, Sheffield United 0. Your thoughts in the comments. That is our show. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank you very much to Jay, our fan sponsor. Dearly departed, also known as Ben. Couldn't bear to lose us. Lovely stuff, Jay. Thank you for sponsoring our Premier League review show. We're going into playoff mode in the Championship very, very soon. So that's going to be taking over the channel a little bit over the next few weeks. But we will still be here each and every round of Premier League fixtures, looking ahead with the previews and back with the reviews for our dearly departed teams. Thank you, everybody, for watching. And it's a big over and out from me. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button to see more videos from this channel. Hit the subscribe button and to be notified every time we upload. Ring the bell for those notifications to come through on your device. If you really want to support the channel and me as a content creator, I will be eternally grateful if you head over to the merch store and grab something, or support over on Patreon, patreon.com/Benjamin Bloom. Thank you for your time. Go and watch another video.